I just loved music so much, and I loved throwing parties. We used to throw bangers at my grandma's house. Like, I'm talking hundreds of people. Cops come, we sweet talk them to leave. We're 16, 17 years old. We'll book the nightclub and put Rick Ross there. Everything went wrong. The promoter for the arena show, they wiped the floor with us. They didn't have one artist show up, but they had a poppin' parking lot. We did everything that we could do, that we thought we could do. And when those doors opened, man, we had no line. We took a massive loss.
So you bombed, basically, your first show. What made you say to yourself, I can still do this? Because you obviously didn't quit.
It was a few things, right? So I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't. We had been doing the shows in Florida under Dope ENT for about 4 or 5 years. So by summer 2014, we were so consistent, but we had reached a ceiling. We had started getting to, 1,500 people, 2,000 person shows. But the next step up as far as venues was arenas. I knew that I had a good plan originally, and I had chased a unicorn. So we found a warehouse in Miami. We divided and conquered on that, and the rest was history. We did that first show. A lot of things went wrong, but all the social media chatter about it was like, I just had the best time of my life. Like, I cannot believe I saw all my favorite artists in one day. And I was like, ditto. Replace wholesome American values with hip-hop culture.
I love it. That's kind of how I did No Days Off.
This is why I made the conscious decision to come join you today.
I'm Manning Sumner. I've lived my life by one motto: no days off. No days off is never taking a day off on you. It's a commitment to becoming your best self. Get ready to be inspired to do the same. This is the Big Dawgs with Manning Sumner.
Tark,
what's up, man?
Thanks for doing this, man. I
Thanks for having me. I
had no idea it was so easy, though. You're only 5 minutes away.
Yeah, man. My office is right down the street. Yeah, absolutely.
Is this your first time in the gym?
Yeah, I have, but I like working out. So
we're gonna get you back.
I met your associate at the gym I work out at.
Okay,
and that's how I'm here today.
No way.
So, yeah.
All right, perfect, perfect, awesome. Yeah. Well, let's dive in. Tariq Cherif, you were born on October 7th, 1989, young buck in Washington, D.C., and raised in South Florida. Yeah. Growing up, you loved skateboarding, and in 4th grade, you met your future business partner, Matt Zingler.
Yes.
The two of you shared a love for music and throwing events, which eventually led to co-founding Rolling Loud. In high school, you guys threw house parties for your friends at your grandma's house, where you blasted rap CDs, and she walked around happy to have you guys there.
Facts.
I love grandmas, right?
Yeah.
You then went on to study business at Florida State University, go Noles, from 2007 to 2011. While there, you launched Dope Entertainment, an event promotion company. In 2010, you and Matt threw your first big event, a Rick Ross after party, and from there started throwing 50-person shows, then 100-person shows. After seeing the same fans at different rappers' concerts, you and Matt had the idea to bring all of those artists together on one ticket and create your own event. On February 28, 2015, you launched the first Rolling Loud show in Miami at a warehouse called Soho Studios with 5,000 people, and you've been building ever since. Rolling Loud has become the biggest international hip-hop festival, blending hip-hop culture, live music, performances, and streetwear, featuring both emerging and established artists like Travis Scott, Nicki Minaj, Lil Uzi Vert, Future, Playboi Carti, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Post Malone, 21 Savage, A$AP Rocky, and many more. I'm kind of proud of myself for, ripping those off.
Yeah,
like
you
down,
killed that. Yeah.
The brand has gone global with festivals in California, Thailand, New York, Australia, Portugal, Canada, the Netherlands, Germany, and Austria. You've even called it the hip hop Disney World.
Yeah, that's right.
In addition to you managing artists, Rolling Loud launched Rolling Loud Records to put out music with different artists. You were named Billboard's 40 Under 40 as a leader under 40, making major impacts in your industry, and you've been recognized 8 times by Billboard as one of the most influential and powerful figures in hip-hop. In collaboration with Cheech and Chong, you and Matt recently launched Rolling Loud Pit Punch.
Yes, sir.
Is this debut or anything, or?
Nah, but it's
okay.
like we're just heating up.
All right,
so, yeah,
just heating up. Pit Punch, and ironically, we have the Pit.
Yeah, I need to
partner interval training down there. So Pit Punch with a pit. I'm not sure if I'd recommend.
But what's crazy is I have a thing that I'm launching within the festival called Fit for the Pit.
Okay,
which is because we have mosh pits,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always saying, like, yo, if you're going to get in a mosh pit, like, you better be fit.
Yeah.
You better be
able
fit
to
for
hold
the
your
pit.
ground.
Yeah.
Because they'd be coming. Like,
yeah. So
it gets
you got to
wild
be
down
fit
there.
for the pit.
Yeah.
Pit punch, pit partner interval training. I like that. You came up with that?
Yeah.
That's cool because they got HIT training, but
Yeah. So it was through training professional athletes.
Yeah, no,
we can
that's
dive in if you want
that's
to.
cool.
Yeah. Some of your quotes: Rolling Loud is more than a festival; it's a lifestyle brand. My core mission is to bring happiness to millions of people worldwide while promoting hip hop culture.
Yeah,
I love it.
That last one I ripped from Disney.
Okay.
Because at some point in the entrepreneurship journey, you start just reading the books about entrepreneurship, you know? And I think one of them was like, I think it was Built to Last.
I've read that.
By Jim Collins, maybe. And it was like about all these companies that have lasted a long time. One of them was Disney, and they were talking about like the mission statements and stuff. And it said Disney's was bringing happiness to millions of people while promoting and nurturing wholesome American values. And I was like, ditto, replace wholesome American values with hip hop culture.
I love it.
So yeah,
that's kind of how I did No Days Off. So I basically stole from Nike, just do it. And No Days Off was my Just Do It. So,
I see you got the Shoe Dog book
that's
on
one
the
of my
shelf
favorite
too.
books,
I love that book.
Bro, I've watched that.
Book.
I've
read
it.
Yeah.
And then Air I've watched like a million times. And Defiant Ones is like one of my favorite documentaries.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. I love a good... this is why I made the conscious decision to come join you today, is just like, I love, just because you're an entrepreneur yourself too, I just love... We're different, like the way we view the world, it's all opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not about like, I feel like a lot of people think about what holds them back, or like they're just locked into like,
or they immediately go to what I've really experienced lately. And I'm glad you brought that up, is that people tend to go to immediate complaining rather than immediate solutions.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're built like, we don't look at problems. We look at like what opportunity. We look at what can we do to pivot to make this actually work for us, not against us. And that's something that you can't really teach.
I think it's like, it's something that people just are either born with or they're not. Like some people just don't have it, So I just want to, I didn't have mentors, you know what I mean? So I just kind of came in the game and kicked in the door and just worked my way up. But now as I'm getting older, I'm like, I need to surround myself with more like-minded people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let's go back if you don't mind.
Yeah, cool. Let's go.
I don't know all the details. I've seen a little bit of you talking about it. That obviously is why we reached out. But I just love, like you said, I love hearing how you started, and the things, the mistakes, the lessons, those kind of things. So take us back to that very first event.
Yeah.
What went wrong? What went right? Like what happened?
I'll probably go a little further back, before the first event. I would say that like, man, my grandparents were entrepreneurs, and I remember being at dinner with my grandfather, and we were with a friend of his, and they just kept talking business. And I was like, man, all you guys talk about is business, man. Like, I just hated that. When I was a kid, I was like, I don't want to do anything with that, right? I was like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to like liberate people. Or I'm going to I realized quickly, you can't do anything you want to do in this life without some money. And I just loved music so much, and I loved throwing parties. So in high school, you mentioned it briefly, but we used to throw bangers at my grandma's house. Like I'm talking hundreds of people, like kegs, bottles, loud music, cops come, we sweet talk them to leave, like we're 16, 17 years old, go to college, I do a year at the dorms, and then second year, my partner, or not my partner, my two roommates and I, we rented a house with a 3-car garage. We did not park cars in there. We never had cars in there. We had a stripper pole, 120-inch projector screen. We built a L-shaped bar.
So you had a club in there.
We had a kegerator that fit 2 kegs and 2 handles. We had a little mini club. We had beer pong tables, a wheel of death that if like you lost beer pong, you had to spin the wheel, and like whatever it landed on, you had to do it, like drink crazy or run around the house naked or whatever. It was like party time.
Yeah.
And so I loved throwing parties and I loved music. And I remember I went to my guidance counselor like, hey, I want to get into the music industry. I get that I'm studying business, but how do I do music? And like, he's basically like, you're at the wrong school. Like, we don't really have that here. And even if you wanted to get in the music program and combine music and your business degree, you don't have the right prerequisites for music. Like, you basically be starting over. So I was like, man, what do I do? So essentially, I saw kids my age in college were booking EDM DJs for nightclubs.
Yeah.
And I figured out pretty quickly that, okay, they're paying the nightclub a rental fee and they're paying the DJ a booking fee, and then they're selling the tickets. A lot of the tickets were hand to hand, like printing tickets and selling them, like having frat kids selling the tickets and whatnot. And this was when I started noticing this was like early 2010 or mid 2010. And at the time I had some favorite rappers of mine, which were like in this new wave of hip hop. So it was guys like, there was Currency, Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, J. Cole, Kid Cudi. Like, there was this whole new wave, and they were not popping really. Like, they had like fans in my college, but not a lot. Like, they weren't like Lil Wayne, you know, they weren't like huge.
They weren't mainstream.
Right.
Yeah.
They were like underground, but there was a contingency of people that knew about them. And I was like, I could probably book these guys for not that much money. And really, I just saw it as like a trampoline to like bounce my way into the music industry. I didn't think I would long-term be doing concerts.
Yeah.
I thought I would just do enough shows to meet enough managers and artists and booking agents and stuff so I could then do some other type of business with them. I always wanted to find an artist and take them from nothing to the top. So the first event, though, everything went wrong. So I deviated from the plan, and instead of booking one of those underground guys, I saw Rick Ross tweet for after party bookings, email rickyrosebookings@gmail.com. And I'm like, oh, it's too easy, man. I can do that. And because he was coming to Tallahassee for FAMU homecoming. I'm white. I don't got any business doing something for FAMU homecoming, right? But they had at FAMU, I thought the school was doing the show. Come to find out, it was an independent promoter. This is one of the reasons why we lost so big. But they had Rick Ross, Waka Flocka, DJ Khaled. I forget. It was like a couple more big artists on
Waka Flocka's still doing mini concerts in Tallahassee.
Dude, yeah, probably.
Like, no, he is.
Yeah. Like
like at Pub Belly, I think is the name of it.
Pot Bellies.
Pot Belly, yeah.
Shout out Pot
We
Bellies.
sell our waters there, so that's how I know that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
he gets lit in there. Like he gets that place packed.
Yeah. He's a great artist. Yeah. So we thought it would be so easy to just like, oh, okay, they got all these rappers going to the arena. Oh man, if we wanted to book Rick Ross for a concert, it would be like probably $100,000 or something. But let's get him for an after party. There's only 2 nightclubs in town. We'll book the nightclub and put Rick Ross there. And bro, if we just sell 1,000 tickets at $20 or sell 500 at 20, 500 at 25, 500 at 30, we'll make so much money. So I email, make a deal for like I don't know if it was 20 or 25K to book them for the after party. And we think it's going to be so easy. Like we're basically doing like drug dealer math, you know, like, oh, I bought this many pounds. I just got to sell this many ounces at this price. Easy. That's how we thought at the time for reasons that I don't need to explain.
Yeah.
And
young and dumb.
But it didn't happen that way. The promoter for the arena show booked the only other nightclub in town, and that promoter said that he had all those artists, including Rick Ross, going to the other nightclub, and they had the DJ on the mic talking about official after party at this nightclub
At the concert.
Yeah, like the DJ of the concert in between every artist performance was talking about official after party here. They wiped the floor with us. They didn't have one artist show up, but they had a popping parking lot.
Right.
They had a line out the door. They had 2,000 people probably go to that club. I don't even think we hit 200 people. So we probably were all in that show for like 30K. So 15K on my end, 15K on my partner's end. We probably walked out with like $5,000.
Oh man.
So it was like,
did Rick show up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he didn't have to do one song. That man performed like 8 songs.
I heard he's like that. Like, he's
dude,
just cool
it was
shit.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was driving around in my Tahoe, took him to the radio station, did a little promo at the radio station. I was a pothead at the time. We're smoking weed together.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I had long hair. I was a different guy back then. We had a great time, but
pictures.
yeah, I'll show you. But it was a great time, but we didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah.
We promoted as hard as we could. We had radio, we had flyers, we had Facebook. We did everything that we could do, that we thought we could do. And when those doors opened, man, we had no line. There was like, and then we're like trying to keep hope, you know, like, oh man, the show's still going on. Right. Like, we got people at the show. Oh,
yeah.
Well, the show's still going on, so of course nobody's here yet.
Right.
Show's over. Couple people start trickling. People are walking up being like, there's no line. And they're turning around and leaving.
Right.
Because they're like,
yeah, exactly.
Nobody here. I'm heart beating crazy, man. And then eventually, like, we did get some people in there. Like, we literally sent people to the other club and be like, yo, Rick Ross is going to Chubby's. It's not open anymore. It was a club called Chubby's.
Yeah.
And we got some people, but no, we took a massive loss.
So this is a great point though. Like, so you bombed basically your first show. What made you say to yourself, I can still do this? Because you obviously didn't quit. I would say 99% of people would quit after that, would be like, all right, this is definitely not for me. What was it that you said to yourself, no, I can do this, you know, that it wasn't a loss, it was a lesson? Like, talk about that.
It was a few things, right? So I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't immediately, neither myself nor my partner immediately shook ourselves off and we're like, all right, boom, next one. Man, I locked myself in my room for like 2 days. Like, I literally was like depressed. I was just in bed like, fuck. Like, what? How did we lose so bad? That same month, I found out that my girlfriend was pregnant. I'm 20 years old. So I was like,
that's heavy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I had also just had viral meningitis and Ramsay Hunt syndrome. So this is all so crazy, like, that it all happened like this. But praise God, like.
What's Ramsay Hunt syndrome?
So half my face was paralyzed.
Oh shit.
It was crazy. Justin Bieber.
I was just about to say the thing that Justin Bieber had.
So I was in the hospital. I ended up dropping out of school because, like, I missed so much school from for that semester I dropped out because I missed so much from being sick. And then find out I'm having a kid, because I was always pro-choice and pro-life. I was like, yo, if it happens to me, I'm probably going to have the kid. But I believe women should have the right to choose. Then when it happened to me, I was like, yo, we should reconsider this. I don't know. I'm not ready. Right. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, long hair, skinny as shit, like, no money. I just lost all my money on Rick Ross. We had the baby. He's my awesome son. He's 14 now. It's been some time. But
beautiful.
Knowing that I was going to become a father, huge motivating factor. But I think also just like, I've never quit in my life. I was an endurance athlete in high school. I used to win track meets and cross country races. And like, I just have always been an endurance type of person. Like, I'm the type that, like, when I do a gym work, like, I'm not the type to fold. Like, I'm the type to keep going. Like, people want to leave the gym. I'm like, nah, let's do another set. Or like, you know, like, so that's like my mentality. So what made me keep going? Just knowing, like, I had a mission in life to make something of myself. Like, I didn't want to be normal. I knew that I had a good plan originally with booking the smaller underground artists, and I knew that I had deviated from my plan, and I had chased a unicorn, or
the shiny object.
Yeah, the shiny. Yeah, not yet. Like shiny. Yeah, I had chased like this thing that was like that looked easy.
Yep.
Because promoting an underground show isn't going to be easy, but I thought that promoting the big guy,
but you had, what's interesting though is that even though it wasn't going to be easy, it was the right thing to do. Like, you were because when you told me you thought of that is genius. That's a disruptive move.
Right.
Like you were about to disrupt the way it was done.
Right. But I went for the easy way instead.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that guy's already making money. People already make money with that guy.
Right.
I should do that. And Rick Ross, by the way, amazing. And I've booked him a bunch of times since then for Rolling Loud.
Okay.
So I don't like, it's not like he's not worth tickets. The guy is a huge artist and he's worth booking, but we just did it in the wrong way. So basically, after a few days of depression, I just wiped myself off, and I went back to this artist that I had been talking to named Currency, and he's like what people would call like a weed rapper.
Yep.
Like he raps all about smoking weed and classic cars. That's like those are his two things.
Yep.
And hustling. Like he's all about, like he's called Currency because he's about money.
Mm-hmm.
So I had originally gotten a quote from him for $6,000 from his manager. And how did you get in touch with him? Twitter. His Twitter had in the bio, email Musa for booking. So like just same thing. Like people are like, how do you get started? I'm like, look around,
reaching
man.
out.
Yeah, like cold emails sometimes get answered.
Hell yeah.
So I had actually wanted to book him around the same time of that FAMU thing for my birthday. I was going to just do a show in Tallahassee for my birthday, but he ended up doing a tour, so he wasn't available. So I went back to him. I was like, hey, how much to do a show in Florida, like when you guys are done with that tour? He's like, oh, $6,000. I'm like, what if I did 3 shows? Because it was $6,000 plus travel. I was like, well, what if I did 3 shows? And he was like, okay, we could do $5,000 a show all in. So I was like, okay, now we're talking. Like $5,000 a show. If I got a $20 ticket, like I don't gotta sell too many tickets to like make this work. And I had been watching like on Twitter. I don't even know if Instagram was a thing yet, but I was
what year
seeing
was this?
2000. We're having the conversations in 2010, but when I booked them, the shows were February 2011.
Yeah, Instagram just came out.
Yeah. So I was a lot on Twitter and and YouTube, and I was seeing videos from his shows in other markets, and I was like, bro, there's like 600 people there. Oh, there's like 400 people there. Oh, there's like 900 people there. So I'm like,
did you have a venue like ready?
So this is what I did. I started cold emails, cold calls. I got a venue in Orlando called Vane Nightclub. I got a venue in St. Pete called Janice Live, which is actually like pretty big, 2,000 people. And then I got a venue in Miami, which was called Eve Event Space, which 1306 North Miami Ave. It's not open anymore. And essentially, we fully financed the Orlando show, and I got the Tampa venue to co-pro or split the show with us 50-50, and I got the Miami one to split it with us 50-50. So we had to just come up with, for the $15K, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little, I always get a little too detailed, but $7,500 deposit.
Okay.
And then from there, we just had to pay the back end in Orlando, because we were doing that show by ourselves, and then we knew that Tampa and Miami, the venue, was going to pick up the back end. So I made the deal like in November-ish, and then I was like, okay, I'll be ready by January. Like, please don't book with anybody else.
And give the audience and me a sense of like where you are financially, personally.
I probably have like $2,500.
Yeah, that's what I'm like seeing, man. Because it's those moments where you're betting on yourself. Yeah. And it's not like you have any reserves, or you can go back to anything. Like you're saying, no, this is it. Like I'm going all in.
Yeah. So I had probably $2,500, and my partner had $2,500. Okay. So we had like a few months to come up with the rest of that $7,500. Granted, we've also got to like live, so
yeah, you got to eat.
It's not like we have $2,500 that we're not touching. Yeah. Not yet, but he's on the way. Oh, okay. So like,
pregnant wife. Yeah. Pregnant girl.
Yeah. So, we hustled and we got the rest of the money up, and man, this was early in the company. So by beginning of January, it's all ready. I'm like, boom, send the contract, sign the contract, send them the deposit, and we got to announce the shows. I designed the website. I designed the flyers.
Did you already have the name Rolling Loud?
No, at this point, our company was called Dope ENT.
Dope ENT.
Yeah, which dope. At the first, it didn't stand for this, but my partner's dad came up with this. He said, dope, huh? He said, delivering outstanding professional entertainment.
No way.
I said, that's good. That's good.
That's sweet.
And so I made the logo for Dope ENT. And so Matt and I got our money together. We launched those shows. I was like decently familiar with Photoshop. So I made the flyers on Photoshop, and I designed the website on Photoshop and sent it to my friend. And I was like, can you make this into a website? Like, just make these buttons clickable.
Yeah.
And he did. And we just had, you clicked it, and each show took you or each listing took you to the actual ticketing page. And
how'd you do your ticketing back then?
So in Orlando, we used Eventbrite.
Okay, so Eventbrite was still...
Yeah, Eventbrite was just starting.
Oh, okay.
And it was a type of... It was bless Eventbrite. It was a type of thing where I didn't have to like have some in the industry. I could just create an account and start selling tickets, which I thought, what a great thing for somebody that's not like in the industry to have an option like that. So I give them a lot of respect for that. And so basically to sell the shows, I went to each city. I got local artists to open for the shows to help me promote the shows. I should say me and my partner. Yeah. But this early, like my partner has taken a huge grasp of the business, especially moving forward. But in those early days when it was like just starting, that was like a lot of stuff that I was kicking off because I was like such a fan of the music, and I had like this like understanding of what had to be done at that time.
Yeah, there's very again, like just very smart things you're doing, like getting local artists to open. Yeah, that's gonna attract the local crowd, so that so that was seems a big obvious, deal. But it's not like
and I was just going to like. So I started going to stores in the markets too. Like, hey, will you sell my tickets?
Okay.
Like I'd go to streetwear stores.
Straight hustling.
Right? Just show up, no appointment. Just like, hey, here's the flyers, here's the tickets. I'm promoting this show. Like, some of them would say yes, some of them would say no, some of them would say, who the fuck is Currency? Yeah. Someone would be like, oh yeah, Currency, he's the guy that raps about cars and Jordans and weed. We love that guy. Yeah. He was like, if you were like a cool kid that bought Jordans and all that type of stuff back then,
I remember. You was like Currency, Devin the Dude.
Yeah. So you know what you're talking about. Yeah. So a little long-winded story, but essentially Orlando broke even. Tampa made a little bit of money, and Miami sold out, and it made like a $10,000 profit.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we just kept. That was February 2011. We did like a show in Orlando with Diplo in March. Randomly, we teamed up with some other promoters, and then did the Currency thing again in June because he was going on a nationwide tour, and instead of just us buying Florida dates. This is how we got into it with agencies. The manager was like, oh, we're doing a tour in Florida. We want to go with these guys because they took great care of us.
Yeah.
That was another thing that differentiated us. Me and Matt would do everything we could to take care of the artists. I'd be driving them in my car. Matt would be giving them weed, like, you know, like, you need girls, you need what you need.
At the end of the day, what I hear is customer service.
Yeah.
You're like customer servicing the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Which is how you build a business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like how you treat people.
We wanted, our whole thing was like, the artist needs to leave. Like, we love those guys.
Yeah.
Like, I love those guys. Right. Great care of me.
They want to work with you again.
Yeah. And that became like our MO for the next like 5 years. Like, you come to Florida, it's us that you need to do your shows with.
Yeah.
So we put hundreds of thousands of miles on my truck. Like, we were driving all over Florida every month for years, just doing that same thing that I just described over and over. We learned some lessons. Like, we started teaming up with promoters. We learned quickly, like, we got to do it ourselves. We got to be a self-contained unit.
Was that because I've fallen into this sometimes, is like when you bring other people into your organization and say sublease or collaborate when it comes to what you do, and then they don't do it the way you do it, and then it causes all kind of problems because at the end of the day, it's your name that you're promoting.
It was something like that, but it was also like there were just... in the concert promoting game, there's a lot of promoters in the independent concert promoters. And we were like not always getting the booking. So sometimes another promoter would get the booking with the agent and the artist, and then we would just like buy on, like, oh, you're paying that artist 10 grand, we'll take 25% for 2,500. But we found that when we weren't in control, we would get screwed. Like, we'd sell out a show and make like $1,000, and like the numbers weren't numbering. It's like, wait, where did those expenses come from? You're just giving me a P&L. Let me look at the receipts. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. They could be making up those P&L.
Exactly. No, they were 100%.
So you have this company, Dope Entertainment.
Yeah.
I love like branding and like having intentionality and things. So, I see your necklace now. We obviously know what Rolling Loud is. Where did that come into play? Where did it go from Dope Entertainment to now you want to like name this thing Rolling Loud and use that as your brand?
So we had been doing the shows in Florida under Dope ENT for about 4 or 5 years. So by summer 2014, we were so consistent, but we had reached a ceiling. So we had started getting to 1,500 people, 2,000 person shows, but the next step up as far as venues was arenas. And what a lot of people don't know is that the arenas are largely controlled by the big dogs like Live Nation or AEG Live. You're not getting in there 9 times out of 10, especially in a hot market like Miami, as an independent promoter. And if you are getting in there, it's dumb expensive, and like the math just doesn't really work out. But more than anything, even if you could get in, Live Nation or AEG, they're buying the tours on a national level at that point once they get to the arena size. So we just were losing like we'd grow with an artist from 100 person shows to 2,000 person shows and everything in between, like growing with them. And then
you would lose them?
Yeah, we'd lose them.
Right.
They'd go like, thanks, but we want to keep growing. And we just got this world tour offer from Live Nation.
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer for them.
Yeah, it's like, and you had to respect it. You're like, all right, I get it. So there was that, like a desire to grow. And then also I had noticed there was a promoter that I worked with a couple times in Miami that every time he did a show in Miami, he called it something. It was called Fresh. So every time he did a show, it said Fresh at the top. And I was like, so it was like his company presents Fresh and then the name of the artist. And I was like, okay, name the show, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm also back to like how in college we saw the EDM promoter or the kids booking EDM DJs. Right here in Miami, we got Ultra Music Festival is a strictly EDM festival. And then in Vegas and in Orlando as well, they have EDC Festival, which is also, or EDC Carnival. Which is, or maybe it's Electric Daisy Carnival. I don't know, but that's strictly EDM as well.
Yeah.
And we started being like, well, we could put all these rappers in one place too. And another thing is,
so before, did you not? Sorry to cut you off, but before, was it always one artist with like some openers?
Yeah, basically.
It was never like a.
Sometimes it was like a co-headline situation, or like two big artists, big
but
artists.
But it wasn't festival style.
No,
it was more
never.
Concert
it was
style.
just like Manning's headlining, and you got your cronies opening up, something like that. But the other thing that we started noticing was hip hop has a bunch of subgenres. So, you've got your lyrical hip hop, you've got your turned up like mosh pit hip hop, you've got your like club rap, like trap, and we started realizing that literally because we'd go to all of our shows and look out at the crowd, at a lot of the lyrical shows, I'm seeing a lot of the same people. And we were already merchandising. So we had Dope ENT merch that we give away for free and sell. Start seeing people that I'm starting to recognize the fans at like I'd see the same fans at a Currency show, at an Action Bronson show, at a Wiz Khalifa show.
Bronson, right,
yeah. So I'd see like these same fans some of them wearing our merch.
Yeah.
And then same thing for like the mosh pit type artists. I'd be seeing the same fans that go to those shows. And same thing for the more trap type artists. I'd be seeing the same fans that go to those shows. And I'm just like, okay, wait, if we put all these subgenres in one show and we have enough of each of the subgenres where if you're a group of friends it's always debate about, you know, like
Right.
there's an overlap. Like I like so much music,
Yeah.
all types of genres and all the subgenres. And I might like a mosh pit album one day and a lyrical album the next day, in the same day even, you know?
Yeah.
So, but there's some people that just stick to what they do or what they like in one bucket. But if I got 5 artists that Johnny wants to see, and 5 artists that Bill wants to see, and 5 artists that Sarah wants to see, and they're part of a 3-person friend group,
Yep.
they all of a sudden between them got 15 artists they want to see. Sarah might show Bill, oh no, I'm gonna go to the so-and-so set because you want me to go to it, but I'm gonna come, you got to come to this set because I got to
Right.
put you on to this artist. So it was like, okay, we put all these artists in one roof. It's a way for artists to make new fans from the other artist fans, and it's a way for us to bring more people together.
Yep.
It's a way for us to raise our ticket price a little bit. So yeah, we just were like, let's do that. So we found a warehouse in Miami in Wynwood called Soho Studios. And by we, I mean my partner Matt did that legwork of finding the venue. And at the time we had divided our business where like he did a lot of the logistics, so like the booking of the venue and like getting the vendors and stuff like that. And then I was like booking artists, branding, like just overall branding, marketing, design, all that stuff. So we divided and conquered on that, and the rest was history. We did that first show. A lot of things went wrong, but
Where did you come up with Rolling Loud?
We're not exactly sure. Like, we liked the name Dopey and T because it was like, you know, edgy name, like, you know, countercult, like, you know, it's
It's dope.
it's cool. Like, it's dope could be a synonym for cool, but dope could also mean you're talking about weed or drugs or something, and we liked that. So Rolling Loud is kind of like a similar thing. I think like we heard like different, you hear rappers like talk about like rolling up some loud or like and we're I don't know, at some point we were like rolling loud, like rolling loud, and that's a good name. And originally we were actually going to make it a hip hop and EDM festival.
Okay.
Because rolling was like ecstasy.
Yeah, exactly.
And like loud was like weed. And we're like, okay, so we're gonna have DJ rapper back to back.
Wild. Have you done any of that?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't even want to know what that would look like.
Interesting crowd.
Yeah, interesting to say the least. But then we were like, nah, straight hip hop.
Yeah.
So yeah, we I can't tell you exactly how we came up with the name, but I know that as soon as like we heard it or we said it, because we didn't invent the words Rolling Loud and putting them together, but we were like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, the rest was history from there.
And then you did the one in Miami.
Yeah, a lot of things went wrong.
Yeah. So talk about did you have like so how does it work? Do you have like do you do like a whiteboard session of like this is who I want, this is my backup, this is like desperation, or do you how do you do it like that?
We weren't so sophisticated to have a whiteboard yet, but we were definitely like
pen and paper.
We were like around we had the dining room table at my shitty townhouse that I was living in, and then we also had the nice sunroom at my grandma's house. So we'd like be in either one of those places, just like writing down lists, or like I'm on the laptop typing out our lists, and a lot of it is just artists we booked already. It was very much about like how many tickets we knew an artist could sell. So like our headliner that first year was Schoolboy Q. The year before with Schoolboy Q, we had sold out 3 shows in Florida at 1,500 to 2,000 tickets a show, and he was only growing. So we were like, okay, we're going to a 6,000 person warehouse. That's a pretty good head, like assuming some growth. Let's say he's worth, because we're trying to pull from the whole state. So if we add up those tickets, he did, 4,500 to 5,000 tickets in the state of Florida. That's a good headliner.
Yeah.
And then everybody else under him, we're looking at, oh yeah, we sold 1,000 tickets with him. We sold 500 tickets with him. We, et cetera, et cetera. So that was a big factor for us. And then budget, like what can we actually book these artists for?
Right. And is the first one a one-day event, or is it multiple?
The first one was just a one day.
Okay, 1 day.
Yeah, we learned from the first one, like, hey man, if you're paying for a stage and you're paying for all this stuff to build out a show, you might as well do 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Because like that's a big chunk of your costs. Right. Though over time you find that labor is a big chunk of cost too. But yeah, a lot of things went wrong that first show. But the main thing that went right was like the fans had a great time, and we delivered like it rained. The amount of rain that we did it in February 2015. The amount of rain that February gets in the whole month, we got it in 5 hours. So Wynwood was like flooded. The water was going into the warehouse.
Yeah.
Like the smoke alarm went off like the whole night.
What?
Like, but
nobody could hear that, right? Like,
oh, you could hear it.
You could?
It was like beep, beep.
that would have driven me nuts.
Insane. Everybody's like wet, like insane. But all the social media chatter about it was like, I just had the best time of my life. Like, I cannot believe I saw all my favorite artists in one day.
Yeah.
Like tagging Rolling Loud, like amazing. Can't wait till the next one. Meanwhile, Miami New Times writes an article. They're like, these guys know how to book a lineup, but they sure don't know how to throw a festival. It was terrible. The smoke alarm was going off. This was wrong. This was wrong. This was wrong. And like, they were right.
Yeah.
But also, I'm coming from the operator perspective of like, man, screw you. Like, you do it. Like, we're just figuring it out, So we had come from doing turnkey shows at clubs and venues to like setting up a blank slate at a warehouse. So obviously we did some things wrong.
Yeah.
Like our ticket scanners weren't even working at the door. Like if we were just like, all right, just pretend like you're scanning the ticket.
Come on. Just come on in.
No, literally we told our people working the door, like just
fake it.
Just act like you're scanning it. So we don't have like people, I don't know, faking it.
Yeah.
We gotta fake it.
If the word got out.
Yeah, we gotta fake it, but don't tell people, so they start faking it. But yeah, it was crazy, man.
So once you did your first show, is it like now you have a new business model and you run with it, or is it you're still doing your old business model and now you're planning it? You know what I mean? Like when did it shift to like kind of going all in on this Rolling Loud festival?
I think data was always so important to us. One thing that I was gung-ho about from the first show we did is I need every email address. Every time somebody, if I'm doing a show, I need to be in control of the ticketing, like my own Eventbrite account, and eventually we start doing TicketWeb, which is a Ticketmaster subsidiary, but I need the data. If I'm not getting the data, I'm not doing this right. Yeah. I need to be able to market directly to my fans or to our customers. So we viewed the monthly shows throughout the state of Florida. They're a risk. They don't always make money. Sometimes they will lose some money, but they made enough money for it to be worth it. And also they gave us that data. They helped us really understand our customers to know who they would want to see for the next Rolling Loud. We knew like, okay, we're going to do Rolling Loud again next year and hopefully again the year after that. But we need to stay consistent doing these shows to just build that brand and to build that data and that understanding of the customer. Because if you're only doing the festival once a year, what do it's not a lot to...
Well, you're not building the people that would go to the festival.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So we kind of built this whole scene in Florida around just hip hop culture and just these concerts and people coming together and having a good time. So if we would have just stopped it then, I think it would have hurt us. And to now, we haven't fully stopped, but we don't do shows every month anymore. But I'm over here like I kind of want to start back up.
Okay.
Because like the scene is it's a little dry right now.
Yeah.
It needs like a new wave, And
I feel like Miami, in my opinion, is like from a live music perspective, even from an intimate standpoint. So like doing like these smaller shows that I think, and again, I don't know how the artists feel about it, but like as a fan, there's nothing better than a small show. Like
nothing.
It is the most, like I remember seeing The Weeknd when he first started in like a small venue, and it was unbelievable. Yeah. Like it was just so like intimate.
It's the best.
Yeah. And then like,
but we have a lack of venues here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. And I feel like a lack of like, well, that's really the main thing. You said it. It's the lack of venues.
Yeah. That's something. The math on it is something I'm wrestling with, but I'd love to open a live music venue in Miami, because in that size of like 1,000 people, you know.
Yeah, this would be a great spot for it, by the way.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, this area
I can connect you with AJ Capital. So.
Yeah,
this is a booming area.
Yeah.
And Sonny's, the owner of Sonny's, Will. Have you been to Sonny's yet?
What's that?
The steakhouse across the street?
Nah.
It's the number one steakhouse in Miami.
What?
It's
never even heard of it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Shout out to Will at Sonny's.
I gotta check it out.
Fantastic. You'd love it if you like steak. But
I do.
It's fantastic. Great ambiance. It's like feel like you're at home, in your backyard.
I gotta try it. I love steak.
Yeah, but me and him were talking about it. That's what Miami's missing, a small live music venue.
Yeah,
right? Something that could be like consistent with different artists and different stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about that. All right, sweet. Yeah, love it. And then so talk about, because I know this has to be, and you don't have to name names or anything, but like, what were the most difficult circumstances around talent? Like, and I'll give you, like, in my head is where this is coming from. So, I love going to live concerts, but I have to have like my perfect seat and the perfect thing. I'm like weird like that. And I'll never forget spending a fortune on Lauryn Hill, and having the perfect seat and the people I want, and 10 o'clock rolls around.
Yeah.
10:45 rolls around. The DJ has now played the same set 3 times through.
Man.
He's holding up signs to get the crowd to clap. Like, it's getting really bad. Like, she's now like, and I love Lauryn Hill. I mean, not to throw her under the bus or anything, but she was like 3.5 hours late. You know? And then it just, ruined the experience. So do you have, and again, you don't have to name names, but do you have any like, those kind of stories that just absolutely screwed you over?
I have some late stories for sure. This one was interesting. So the second year of Rolling Loud, we stepped up our talent budget a lot, and we had booked Future. He was our headliner for the second night. Yeah, for the second night, because we increased to 2 days this time. And I got a call early in the day, or like, hours before his set. Hey, like I don't know if he missed it or his commercial flight got canceled. Like, he was flying from some other city and the flight got canceled or whatever. So they're like, don't worry, he's still going to come to the show. We're going to fly private, but we got to wait out this weather or something happened, right? Man.
And he's the headliner, right?
So, and our whole thing is like riding on like, yo, Future's gotta perform, man. Like, if Future doesn't perform, like, we're gonna be looked at like scammers, Like, you could have all the artists perform all day, but if your headliner doesn't perform, like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Everything was riding on him showing up. So he eventually did show up, but it was like 2 hours
really late.
Yeah, so same type of thing. We got this DJ playing for a while, and then like, our fans are rowdy. You can't keep hyping them up, and that, like, they're gonna get too hype.
Yeah,
literally, I got the cops coming to talk to us. They're like, hey man, you gotta actually chill this crowd out, because if you keep hyping him up and he's not here, like, this is gonna be a problem.
They're gonna burn the place down.
Yeah. So we actually put this DJ on that, like, we're like, yo, just play like the most chill, like, weird shit.
That's hilarious.
I start seeing tweets at Rolling Loud like, yo, what is this ambient, like, what elevator music? We're just like, ignore it. Like, yo, we just every once in a while, like, hop on the mic like, Future's on the way, whatever.
Yeah.
But finally he showed up, and they all forgot. Soon as he hit the stage, like, that was the punchline. It's like, he showed up.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's crazy artist stories. I mean, we had a lot of like artists being late. That's a whole issue.
Common theme.
Yeah. But I think us and the artists have done a good job working together to like help that happen as little as possible. Something we've done on our end is earlier in the day, we'll just cut your set. Like, cause we used to like not try to cut sets. And so the whole schedule would get messed up.
I was about to say, then it messes up the whole schedule.
Yeah, it's like if the 7 p.m. guy is late and we let him do his full set, then it affects the next set and the next set and the next set. And if you have a curfew, that's a huge problem because then you're going to cut the headliner set.
Right.
So we started just cutting sets earlier. But even so, that's the worst thing is when you have a curfew and the headliner's late. I had that with Nicki Minaj in New York. Like we had a 10 p.m. curfew. They're like tracking her location. We told her be at the venue by 8 because you're on it, 8:40 or something. She was still like at 8:40. She was still in Midtown or wherever Manhattan, and our show's in Queens.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, come on. So she didn't show up till like 9:15 or something like that. She gets on stage doing the show, and then she's trying to push past curfew. And I'm like, dude, this is New York City. Yeah, this is NYPD. Yeah. Like,
they're not gonna mess
we
around.
Bought her a few minutes, and I don't mean paid for a few minutes because it's not even like that. It was just like, yo, please, guys, like,
help us out here.
Yeah, so they helped us out a little bit, but they shut it off on her. I got nothing. I can't stop NYPD. Yeah. And then she was pissed. She's all mad at me. She like yelled at me. I was like trying to introduce myself, like, hey, thank you for coming. Like, appreciate, because before when we were just in my Tahoe driving around Florida, I talked to every artist that'd be in my car with me. It was all cool. You get to a certain level and you got a superstar, mega, diva like Nicki Minaj. You don't even get a second of her time.
Right.
So I'm like asking the manager, like, hey, can you introduce me so I can say thank you for coming? Introduce me. She's like, I had my hand out. She's like, shake hands. The queen don't shake hands. And she's like, and why you cut my set? I'm like,
God. Because you're late?
I didn't. Right. The cops did, but we have a curfew. And she just like walked away. I was like, damn. Worked with her since then, and she was on time, and it was great. Yeah. So it's just like sometimes, people are late. I'm late sometimes. But you want to be on time. Other crazy artist stuff, man, it's just like just crazy performances. A lot of like crazy like collaborative performances. Like you don't expect, and the next thing you know, like Chris Brown is on your stage with Future, or like Kanye gets brought out and you didn't like what Kanye.
So a lot of times they don't tell you.
No, well, we knew. I've been told for years that Kanye was coming, and then all of a sudden it actually happened. Yeah. And then I cleared out our compound for him, like gave him my trailer, like all this stuff. And he was a super nice guy. But like, yeah, stuff like that is like, whoa, this is, especially like, I know there's all this controversy around him now, but at that time it was like larger than life,
Yeah, I remember I got a text message at 11 p.m. Hey, come to church, and from my pastor. And I was like, it was 11 p.m. I was like, what? Yeah. And so I go, and there's like thousands upon thousands of people outside the church. And then I go with the security, I go in, sit down, and then the whole Sunday choir comes in. Oh, and nice. Then Kanye comes in, and they did the Sunday choir whole set.
That's awesome.
Like private for like 1,000 people. It was awesome. It was like lit. Like,
that's really cool.
It was. I still have all the videos in my phone, and I mean, it literally felt like you were in the throne room of heaven.
Yeah,
that's like the wild voices you've never heard singing like that. Well, I'm sure you have, but you know what I mean. Like to people out there, I mean, it was the most in sync, beautiful harmony. Like, and then he was just like talking to everybody. It was awesome.
I don't know about your church, but I know my church, like, they have worship at the beginning and at the end. Yeah. So there's like some music, but it's nothing like that.
No. Yeah. No, this is like on another, like I said, you literally felt like you were in heaven. Like, and the way they did it, they like surrounded you. So they weren't just on a stage. They like, I had a woman singing right here next to me. Wow. Like, and just it was like goosebumps, crazy goosebumps. That's cool. It was really cool.
That's
really
cool. I hope that he can get in a place where he's able to do that again.
I know. Yeah. I know. I think he will. I think.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I feel like people judge him.
That's a friend of mine. Like, I think like I believe in him, and I believe that he can get back in that place for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Other stuff. I don't know, man. I'm not like, if people is like, oh, what you seeing? Like, I haven't seen anything that crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some fights. Like, But we run a pretty tight ship.
Yeah.
You know, like, praise God, never had anything that crazy happen.
Yeah, you never really hear any kind of like, you know, because a lot of times, like, I mean, you remember Woodstock that they tried to do was a freaking disaster.
Yeah.
You hear these horror stories about festivals, and y'all have had a very good reputation for a long time.
That's all teamwork, man. That's just building a great team and
So how many people do you have on your team now?
So we actually have a very small amount of employees.
Okay.
We've only got about like 11 employees, but we have a great network of contractors that we work with, because it takes it's a couple thousand people working the festival, you know.
Like the stage builders and
people building the stages, people operating the stages, people,
all the sound,
the food vendors, the security, the ticket taker, you know, ushers type thing, like people working the door, which is the gates. Just, you know, there's a lot of people working the show, and great leaders for all those departments is super important. So, and like, I can't even take credit for being some master organized, you know, like you hire one festival director and that guy will
so do you
handle
hire
all that.
Is it a consistent guy, or is it different?
we've had the same festival director since about 2019, I want to say. 2015 and 16 we didn't have a festival director. We just were winging it. And then 2017, we had a guy for a couple years who we got from Ultra, and he was great. And I love him. That's like a great friend of mine. But sometimes like you just need like another level of organization and professionalism and email answering. You know, it's like some people are really great at operators and can work in the business,
right?
But we need people that can work on the business.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like be the puppeteers and like answer emails really quickly and be ready for communication and all that type of stuff. So a great festival director can manage all the departments underneath him or her and really do a great job at that.
And when you go through that process, is there ever a moment where you have to step in and maybe like correct something that you think like from your, because it's your baby, you know, you and your partners, like, is there ever like, let's say he says something and you're like, no, we're not doing that. Like,
it's funny, like we'll walk the site always, like, you know, a couple days during the load-in week and the build week, we're walking around checking stuff out, and I can't tell you how many times like we'll walk in front of the main stage and Matt will always be the first person to notice it. He'll be like, why the fuck is this speaker tower here? Like, you're blocking the view. Like, this needs to move. This needs to move.
Okay.
Like, and in our early years, like that for some reason, this would happen for years, that like the artist entry protocol would always be like a mess. Like
really?
The way the roads were leading in and how we had the cones set up and the barricades and like the security checkpoints for the artists. And Matt would be out there for hours, like redoing it. And I would just be like, damn, Matt, like, he's like, I know, bro, we hire these people and I gotta come in and redo it. But blessed, like now it's like we don't have to do any of that.
Because a lot of times, like, because you've been doing it so long and you're in it, like, and you're also kind of like, you're a fan of it too.
Yeah.
You're not just the founder, you're like a fan of it.
Yeah.
So getting that fan experience that you want for your fans, you have to like dictate that.
Yeah.
The speaker thing is so common though.
Yeah.
Like they put the speakers all the time in the worst spots.
Yeah.
I've never understood that.
There's just stuff like that, like where the barricades are and stuff.
Like, why are you going to sell a ticket with the freaking speaker right in front of people's faces? That doesn't make any sense.
But I will say that like what we've learned over time, as you start getting like, you know, you start getting sued and certain things, like if somebody like broke their leg or something, like we actually have to start maintaining a degree of separation and having department heads that are in charge of all those things. And it's like, it's your responsibility to determine where the barricades go and where the fence lines are and all this stuff.
So you get sued, not us.
Well, not only that you get sued, not us, but like we don't like, when I got deposed, That shit sucked.
No,
and I
trust me, I just went through that.
It's like, they're asking you like, so you said that fence line should be there, and I'm like, no, I don't determine where the fence lines go. You know what I mean? So it's like, but now we're like super gung ho on like, that's not our job.
Yeah,
our job is like very high level, booking the lineups and the marketing and that type of stuff. But when it comes to the festival operations, festival director and all the departments that report to him, and the information is just fed to us, and we're like paying bills, like, because while at first we were very hands-on, we learned that like, that's actually a liability.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So talk a little about what's come out of Rolling Loud, like so now you got a new beverage.
Yeah.
Is there a clothing line associated with it?
The merch
probably flies, right?
It's crazy. Like the first couple of years, the merch didn't sell at all, and then by the third year, we started booming with the merch, and man, we sell a lot of merch.
Yeah.
Like it's.
And it's your company?
Yeah. The merch
is it through a separate company, or is it through?
No, it's just Rolling Loud.
Rolling Loud. Yeah.
Rolling Loud LLC.
Yeah.
We sell more merch than bigger festivals than us.
Really?
Like on a per head basis and on a total sales basis. So like, I mean, at a show, we'll sell like $3.5 million of merch.
That's awesome.
And and that'll be with like anywhere between like 50 to 60,000 people. But we have other festivals that we're aware of that they'll have 150,000 people and sell like $1 million in merch.
Do you think it's the kind of merch you sell, or just the popularity of Rolling Loud?
So I wear the same shit every day.
Yeah.
So I'm not the merch guy. But my partner Matt and our head of merch Ray, they've lately done a great job of just really developing the merch line out. And then prior to that, we had my friend Aditya he really kicked off our merch business. Like he took it from like nothing to like fully fleshed out merch lines. We had the same designers that now do Cactus Jack and all Travis Scott stuff. Like they used to do our merch, but they kind of they did our stuff for so long, and then they were like, okay, we're on to other things now. But so then Matt and Ray really took the ball and ran with it, and we've got cut and sew jackets and flannels and Lettermans, and we've got hoodies with bedazzle on them, all types of stuff. I just wear the regular shit. I'll take the hoodie and the shorts that we make and stuff. But yeah, we just have a really fleshed out line at every show, and of like probably like 40 items, and people are just out there buying it up.
Yeah.
And you can only get it at the show and for like a brief window of time after the show online, and then it's gone.
And then tell me about the beverage.
So what I said, you said this at the beginning, like you said that I said, and my partner says it as well. It's like Rolling Loud is a lifestyle brand. So what I also said, Rolling Loud, our goal is to promote to bring happiness to millions of people while promoting and nurturing hip hop culture. So it's like, all right, we're doing that with the festival, but how else can we like promote hip hop? How else can we brand Rolling Loud and bring it into the spaces that hip hop interfaces with? So we talked about merch. Another thing we're doing is content. So we have a movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah, like a documentary?
No, that's happening too. But we have a full-on movie coming out starring Owen Wilson, Matt Rife. He's funny. And it's got artists in it too. And basically,
what is it about?
So it's a comedy. So it's it's written and directed by Jeremy Gerlich, who he was like the writer of The Hangover.
No way.
And so basically the movie is about, I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's about a father and son that go to Rolling Loud together, and everything goes wrong and right.
Okay.
And it's just hilarious.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
And like I remember reading the script and just like, this is hilarious.
Who came up with this?
Jeremy. So Jeremy came to Rolling Loud, had a mini version of that experience, went with his son. They got, I don't want to.
Yeah, don't ruin it. Yeah.
But then he contacted Matt and was like, yo, I want to do a movie.
No, that's
about
a
Rolling
genius
Loud.
movie idea concept.
And so Jeremy wrote the script, and then we read the script, and we were like, this is incredible. So that movie, it's already been shot. So we're.
And how does that work from and if this is TMI, then let me know, but like, is that a licensing deal you do with them, or is that from a business perspective, how does that work?
Yeah. So essentially, we have points in the movie.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's essentially a licensing deal, and that's going to be huge. And the movie's literally called Rolling Loud. That's awesome. Which is like insane.
Like, what does that do for you personally? Like, that's got to be kind of like a holy shit moment.
It's wild. Like the day that movie, I'm praying it goes to theaters first, because I have this whole idea of how we could roll it out and do the merch with the custom popcorn thing and all that stuff, and then take it to streaming. But
talk about a red carpet.
Yeah. I want to do a crazy premiere too. A premiere
would be sick with that.
Yeah, so really excited for that, and it's just.
When is that supposed to drop?
Well, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Has it been shot already?
Yeah. The whole movie's been shot. We shot at Rolling Loud Miami in 2024, and then we shot like the entire month of like 30 days between January and February of this year in Atlanta at Trillis Studios, which is a really cool place. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. I wish I was on set more than I was. I was only on set for like 3 days out of the 30.
Yeah, some cameos?
So Matt's in the movie and I'm in the movie.
Nice.
So he plays a character in a certain scene and I play a character in a different scene. And both scenes are really funny.
That's great.
I think his might be funnier though. He's got a good character. Yeah, it's super cool. So look out for that. And then we've also... we're starting to put out music.
Okay.
So we're working towards an album. So we're putting out a single at a time, where we put same way we put a lineup together, we put a lineup of a song together. So taking two artists you wouldn't expect maybe to work together and put a song out with them too. So it's kind of like, that's something I've been working on, is curating this album. And then, we've got the drink here, Pit Punch, which is a collaboration we did with Cheech and Chong, which is crazy to be in business with them. And they've got this whole consumables company, and they brought us into the fold. And
I get so many ads from them on
really?
X, on Twitter.
Do you?
And I'm I don't even.
That's crazy.
I'm not even into that kind of thing. But they must have they must have great marketing. Yep. It pops up like almost every day.
That's great. Yeah. So they're good at what they do. They're really good at getting in retail.
Yeah.
So we just launched like a month or two ago.
Okay. And
we're already in like, I think over 100 hundreds of stores.
Amazing.
I don't know, but we sold like almost 100,000 cans already, and they're moving it, man. I got nothing to do with how they move it, but they got it at Total Wine and Circle K, and they're
and it's a THC product.
Yeah, THCA. So it's like, I guess it's legal in 42 states. And
is that a Delta 9 or what do they call that? Delta?
No, maybe you're thinking the original THC is Delta 9, but then Delta 8 was the one that went like crazy legal for a while, and maybe it still is, but THCA is Delta 9, but I guess it's hemp derived. Okay. So the reason it's legal is, I don't want to speak wrong, so I could be wrong. Take this with a grain of salt, but I'm just marketing the thing. But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's hemp derived, meaning it's not coming from an illegal plant. It's coming from a legal plant.
It still is
psychoactive.
Yeah.
Right?
So it gets you high.
Yeah. But like, it doesn't last as long as like an edible.
Okay.
So it's like you drink it and you might feel it for a little bit and then it'll go away. I don't currently partake.
I was about to say, so you're currently on a sober journey?
Yeah.
From everything, or?
Yeah. I haven't been doing anything.
Yeah. For how long?
Matt's been sober for like 7 years or something.
Okay.
But I've never been like a huge drinker.
Yeah.
When I drink, it's like every once in a while. But when I drink, I do like to party. But I was more of like a weed guy for a while, but I was just like, I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah.
So it's been some time. Did the 75 hard to start off the year, and then just kind of
Andy Frisella joint.
Yeah. I was like, I want to try it.
Yeah.
I kept seeing people doing it.
Yeah.
And But no, I think it's still a fine product for people that want to partake, and I will partake again. I'm not currently trying to say that it's going to be a forever thing, but yeah. So we're doing Pit Punch, and then we'll be doing other stuff in content as well. Whether it's putting out I think the next phase will be like YouTube shows.
Yeah.
Like that appeal to hip hop fans, and working on like a GTA server. Just a bunch of stuff that's like brand adjacent. Where can our brand live? Is
there a venue that like you haven't been that you want to like go to?
It's like countries I want to go to for sure. Like I really want to get to Africa. Really want to get to South America. Really want to get back to Australia.
So y'all did one in Australia?
Yeah. So we've done Europe, a few countries in Europe. We've done Australia. We've done Thailand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'd like to get into more of Asia, and I'd like to get into South America and Africa.
And are you always there?
I haven't missed one yet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, no, I can't. They're far enough apart. You don't.
How many do you do a year?
It depends on the year. It's like on average like 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any desire to do the Sphere?
Yeah, I love the Sphere. I don't think you could call the show Rolling Loud at the Sphere. We could do like a Rolling Loud presents some type of experience.
Because I'm thinking about like, because you're getting into the video now.
Yeah.
And that shit is
sick. It's crazy. Have you been there?
I haven't. But,
me neither, yeah.
But just watching
I've
it
seen
on
the videos.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Like the New Year's Eve thing was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That was the DJ.
The DJ.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, the visuals, just watching it on YouTube was like, and I was like, can't imagine being there.
Yeah. So
and then that's where I came up, because I was like, okay, YouTube, Sphere.
I think like, so our show is like a multi-stage parking lot field situation. So we would have to adjust to do it in the Sphere.
Yeah.
But I want to do all types of shows in my life, and I think the Sphere is dope. Yeah. I gotta at least go to a show there.
Me too. Yeah. I have to. Yeah. Backstreet Boys are going.
I would love to see like one of those like jam band. Like I would love to see like Fish or something at the Sphere. Like I want to see like somebody that leans into like the trippy side of things.
Definitely. That's a Fish would be dope.
Any type of band would be cool there.
So if we went into your car right now and turned on the music, what would be playing?
This one guy, I just was listening to this guy, Speaker Knockers.
Okay, I remember.
He's dead now.
Yeah.
But I was just listening to him on the way over here. Yeah. I've been my Apple Music, I'll like when I go pick one song, right now I have it set like it doesn't go to like another song. It'll like
just plays the same song?
No, it'll just like stop.
Oh, okay.
But then like if I get back in the car to just start that song again, and I'm not sick of it yet.
Are you the type? Because I do that. I will listen to the same song over and over and again until I get sick of it.
I do that, and I also like a lot of what I listen to is the artists that I work with, like their unreleased stuff.
Okay. Just
to like, I like to I won't dictate what songs they drop, but I will definitely make my opinion known. Like, dude, this song you made is amazing. Like, if you don't put this song out, you're tripping. And I'll never be like, oh, this song sucks.
Yeah.
But like, I'll try to just, you know how it is, like in business, like you can lead with negativity or positivity.
Right.
So I just try to be positive about what I believe in, and hopefully like that'll just infect people instead of being like, behind closed doors, how do we tell them this song sucks? It's like, how about we just keep talking about the ones that don't
exactly
suck?
Right. That's like, a good way to look at it. Yeah, let's not tell the artist that the song sucks.
Yeah.
When I was training, I used to train, artists all the time, and I was training Scott Stapp when he was doing his solo album. So he would put me in the car and be like, and it was so nervous because he'd be like, what do you think of this song? And luckily all his music is great. So it was like, I'd be like, oh, it's dope. But I was like, what if he plays a shitty song? Like,
how do you tell somebody?
How do you tell Scott Stapp, the lead singer of Creed, that the song sucks? And then again, it never did. So I never had that moment. But But it was
You've trained some wild people.
Yeah, man. Wild. Usher, Rico Love.
Oh, that's wild.
Danger.
You trained a lot of people.
Yeah, like,
but to my understanding, you don't train anymore.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I came back out of retirement recently for Josh Sweat. He Super Bowl champion from the Eagles.
Yeah.
He asked me to train him, so I'm working with him now. And I train my lawyer because I want to make sure that he's on my side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got away from once I started to really like make this a business and start scaling and start thinking about apparel and beverages and all this. You don't have the time to do it. So yeah,
it's like, what do they say? It's like when you're getting paid for your time, it's like you're in a place where it's like you're getting paid for your ideas and like, you know,
like I have to be the constant visionary to grow the company. And if you're, you know, they say it like if you're down in the bottom of the ship putting the coals in the fire, then you're not steering the ship.
Right.
And a lot of times business owners go backwards and they get back into putting the coal in the fire, and then all of a sudden the business doesn't grow. So it's definitely important to keep your eye on the innovation, the creation, the vision, and then also too the support of your staff, like pouring into them and giving them the knowledge that you attained over the years.
Yeah, that you got 8 hours a day on the floor or whatever it was, 16-hour days training people. Yeah, I don't know.
Don't undercut me.
Yeah, no, 16. It's 16 hours a day on the floor. Yeah. But you know what? I think it's good though that you're getting your feet wet a little bit on the training again, because I'll say like my good friend Ghazi, he's a founder and CEO of a record label called Empire. It's the biggest independent label. Like they're the ones who put out Shabuzi's song, a bar song, Tipsy. So they went #1 for 20 weeks or whatever it was.
Crank.
Yeah, and
his Jelly Roll song is so good too. Amen.
Yeah. So that was independent label, very successful guy, but he started off engineering. Like, and by engineering I mean recording music and mixing it.
Yeah.
And to keep himself sharp, he'll still go engineer a random artist's album, or he'll still go do marketing for an album, or he'll still go like touch the different parts of the business just to make sure that like he still knows what's going on, and nobody can try to like pull one over on him too. Right. Like, this is just how it's done now. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's cool that
I like that. Yeah. I like it.
Because it's like,
and it also, you know, from a ego perspective, you get back into it and you're like, I still got it.
Yeah.
You're like,
I still got it. And you can show your trainers that work under you, like, yo, man, I don't just talk it, I can walk it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, not that you needed to. They got 20 years, however many years that you did it to point back to, but I just think
But people forget.
Yeah.
You know,
like, people what have you done for me lately? What have you
And then also the new employees, they don't really know what you used to do.
Yeah.
You know, they would have to do their homework on that.
Yeah. So. No, that's cool, man. I think health and wellness are so important. I heard some stat recently. It was like there's X percentage of millionaires in America, and the amount of millionaires in America is like more than the amount of Americans with six-pack abs or whatever. And not that like the goal is like to have six-pack abs, but I just found that to be so crazy that there's more millionaires than people that have
There's actually
six-pack.
This just came out that if you have a six-pack, you're in the 1 percentile.
Yeah, that's wild.
Of men.
Yeah.
That's
like,
ridiculous.
I've just been super into like these metrics come, like everyone's like, okay, don't drink, don't smoke, eat healthy, but like, and I'd agree, like do all those things and don't do the, you know, I get it. Lifestyle choices are important, but a lot of the people talking all that stuff are like avoiding the hard part, which is the training. Mm-hmm. And then there's so much data that's like, training is the single most important thing you could do for longevity. Like, what's that guy's name? Peter Attia.
Yeah,
like, you've seen the clips, man. Like
him and Huberman.
Yeah, like 200% increase
like 400% all-cause mortality decrease with lifting weights and strength training. It's insane.
That plus the VO2
number one thing in VO2 max.
That plus the VO2 max combo, which is why I added cardio back into. Although if you're squatting heavy, you're getting that VO2 max up.
Well, it also you can essentially get the same cardiovascular response by the rest time that you give yourself in resistance training.
Right. Yeah. If you got that low rest time.
Right. Like if you're resting like 4 minutes between sets, then obviously you're not getting too much cardiovascular work. But if you're doing like 40 seconds rest in between sets, then all of a sudden your heart rate's like really getting up there. So.
But how do you balance that? Like, my bad, I'm asking questions.
No, it's perfect.
How do you balance that with like, cause I guess you just got to balance your goals. Cause like if your goal is hypertrophy, like you do need that long time in between sets, right?
To a certain degree.
To maximize hypertrophy.
So there's difference between hypertrophy and strength training.
Right.
So hypertrophy, I would say more on the 40 seconds to 2 minutes rest.
Yeah.
And then strength is like the 2 to 4 minute rest.
Right.
But then there's so many different modalities. There's also EPOC training, like excessive post-oxygen consumption, where you're actually doing absolute max intensity for say 30 seconds to 4 minutes, and then you rest until you're completely recovered. And that could be 2 minutes or that could be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you do like 6 sets and like that's it.
That's kind of like the what do they say? That's like the Norwegian 4x4 thing I heard about.
Yeah, that one's for anti-aging longevity.
Yeah.
They actually have reversed people's heart response. Like people that have been sedentary for years, and you do 4 minutes of 90% heart rate max, and then 3 minutes of like 40 to 60%, 4 sets, that's it, and you do that 1 day a week,
once a week,
and you like increase your heart, is like you decrease your heart's age by like 10 years.
I try to tell people, man, like, I can't go to the gym, I don't have the time. Bro, you got the time.
Everybody has time.
Like
it's priorities.
You got a floor.
Yeah.
You got time.
Exactly.
You could do burpees, push-ups.
Well, I tell people all the time, like
the park's got to pull up more. Yeah, walking.
People underestimate walking.
Yeah.
Like especially people that are not into exercise and they're trying to get into exercise. The first thing you do, I always say water and walking.
Yeah.
Make sure you're hydrated and make sure you're walking. And at least that gets you moving and it gets your body in the right direction. And then hopefully from that commitment of doing that, then you'll want to do more because all of a sudden you'll feel better. And you'll want to, especially people like overweight,
I started walking a lot more with the 75 hard because you had to do the one outdoor workout a day. And sometimes I did run, sometimes I did bike, sometimes I did swim, but sometimes I just walked. Yeah. And I'm like, some people would comment because you got to post every day. Some people would comment, a walk isn't a workout. All right, bro.
Yeah. Well, how you should be like, have you been to Miami in 95 degree weather?
Right.
Like,
although January and February not so bad, but still.
Right now,
like
it's hot.
it is a workout. It might not be the hardest workout, but it's good for you.
It's definitely a workout for sure.
One of the reasons why I did the 75 hard too was to inspire my industry because man, my industry is unhealthy. Yeah. Like, bro, people that work in music are not healthy. A lot of them. Some of them are taking care of themselves.
And don't you find it interesting that this is what I see happens is they work themselves to death to make it, and then when they make it, then they get in shape. You know, and it's like I believe that they would actually probably get to making it sooner if they put more priority on their well-being, because there's also a direct correlation. Rick Rubin talks about. Is it Rick Rubin? Rick Rubin. I think it's Rick Rubin talks about this, is that there's a direct correlation between, mind, body, and spirit. So like when you're in really good shape and also when you're doing exercise, you're creative. Is through the roof. Mm-hmm. Like you come up with better ideas. Like your brain works better.
Absolutely.
So,
without a doubt.
And like think about how, a lot of these artists are amazing. And they're probably working off of like 10% of their potential.
They're working off no sleep. They're fucked up. No sleep. Shit diet. No training. Yeah. Like
recently, I had the opportunity to train Ice Spice, and she's getting really into like health and fitness.
That's cool.
Yeah, her she's completely changed her whole outlook on like health.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, I noticed she's been looking different. That's amazing. Yeah, like my boy Ski Mask Slump God, he never used to train at all. That dude's doing MMA 3 times a week now.
You know, Wiz Khalifa's like,
bruh,
like crazy into it.
Him and I are similar in the sense that like if we don't train, we're toothpicks. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm over here super jacked. I'm actually got like a sprained elbow right now, so I'm kind of taking it easy. So I'm a little bit deflated. But like him and I are the same, like skinny fucks.
Yeah.
But like that dude got jacked. And he can kick hard.
I thought it was AI. Like when I saw some of the like viral photos of him, I was like, this ain't real.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Rico, and he's like, yeah,
he's jacked.
Definitely jacked.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up, I always ask people this. So if there was one thing that you wanted people to know about you that you don't think they do, what would it be?
I think, so a lot of people see myself and my partner and they're like, oh, they're these 2 white guys that just are trying to like capitalize off hip hop culture and black culture, and you know, they're just trying to like make a bunch of money. And my thing that I want people to know is like, yo, man, I started in this from the bottom and helped build this whole scene out of love and respect. And I'm not here to extract. I'm here to cultivate. Like, I'm here to like sow the seeds, nurture the soil, and keep this stuff going for long beyond me. Like, hip hop is one of like the longest thriving genres, and I wanted to keep it that way. Well, it's still a young genre, but like it's been around since the 80s now, you know, and like I wanted to keep going. It's had a lot of evolutions, and I'm a huge fan of it. And I'm not here to take, I'm here to give, really.
Love it.